guys have ever taken a class with me before about staple mitigation all the time, and this is just to make sure you don't land too many staples in ahead of time so you're not taking too many staples out. And this fabric is not a self-healing fabric, so it will, the staples leave holes in it, and it is very fragile when using a staple remover on it. So I want to prevent putting too many staples in it right away. So just like every panel of fabric that you'll put on your project, and that's true with this back one, true with the front one, true with the seat, you're putting it on, you're stretching it out across the surface of the frame before you start going nuts on staples. This stretches it out evenly. Make sure that it's straight before you start laying down staples. Make sure that everything looks like it is going to fit the way it does. And this just prevents a lot of costly mistakes. Some people will start with one staple, work their way around into a circle, and that's where they start to see things bunch up because you're kind of stretching it as you go. So this way we're stretching it up and out this way and diagonal this way and diagonal this way before we start locking in too many staples. And the first handful of staples I use to do this are called temporary staples. And those are done, I don't know if you guys can see close up, but instead of stapling down flat like this, I put my staple in like this, and that allows a little gap underneath the staple so that if you have to come back in with a staple remover, you can take it out quite easily and you're not going to damage your fabric. But before I came into class, I took some of these calipers, piece of tailor stock, and I went in and I measured an equal distance away from the edge roll from the back of the couch. And I went all the way around the couch so that this is in the same exact spot all the way around the couch. And then what I'm hoping is that I've set myself up for success, that I can do lined like a line of staples, a thin line of staples that I can use a thin thing of welt on so that I can make it like super invisible. And it should, because everything's kind of poofy on both sides, leave a little canal that I can just lay that in so it'll look nice and clean. Before I lock it in on top, I want to lock it in on the bottom because I have a center mark down there. Not only is the frame marked, but the wood has a design detail that is like directly centered and it comes to a point. So that's like the most reliable place for me to start. This is setting yourself up for success for a single welt. I don't know if you guys, how close you guys can see, but there's a gap between all of the material above it and the show edge wood. Do you guys see that? So when I stapled everything on, the barrier fabric and then the batting, before the top layer of fabric, I left this like finger width gap between the show wood and everything else. So when I come and I bring my fabric down here, all I have to do is trim my fabric back and none of this sticks out. So it is going to look nice and clean. So here is where I'm going to be attaching the back fabric first. We're going to follow it up and it's going to attach right up here on the top. Be careful because I pretty much just have just enough to come to the bottom and wrap around the top and go around both sides of the front. So I need to like be careful how close I call it down here at the bottom as well as the top, because there's not a lot of wiggle room. So I have to put temporary staple in up here, a really, really light one, just so that will hold still. It's right in the seam, so I didn't really go through the fabric, but I want it to stay put. You could also use pins. I don't have any pins. The other thing I want to do is make sure that the seam is open wide and flat all the way up. I can't iron this fabric because it's velvet, and just velvet is not meant to be ironed, and this isn't polyester. So I just want to make sure I can make sure it lays flat. When I pull it tight,
can you steam velvet?
So you're not, no, like not
okay.
Like wool or
so don't
velvet.
do anything to velvet. You can't do anything to it, basically, but spot clean.
But you can, so there is polyester velvet, there is performance velvet, and you can steam that. You can iron it, but this will likely melt, and sometimes if it gets wet or if it gets steamed, it will change color, and it's not consistent. It won't come back. So you have to be careful about that.